Good morning, everybody. It's me, Maris, and welcome to my sacred space. I am here, finally. I'm here in Oklahoma City at the Oklahoma City studio. It's the beginning of what I would call my work week. Well, I guess it's actually the second day into it. I did come in yesterday. So let's begin our morning here with a smudge. Don't forget it's Prosperity Thursday. So on Thursdays, and also you do this at the first of the month, on the first day of the month, but you step outside the front door, face in, and blow a little cinnamon powder into the house, wishing, or blessing the house with prosperity, abundance, plenty of harvest, etc. So here is your Good Morning Thursday smudge. Okay, yeah, you just kind of do this, the screen, yeah. It's metaphorically, but it's still part of that process. I always like to smudge the mouth so that I ensure that I am speaking truths and speaking with integrity. And before I start, I was just like, I got this inkling I needed to do the life purpose cards. I was actually reading a post, I guess Doreen Virtue, she converted to some kind of very evangelical Christian group, and so she's like denounced everything that she did in her past, and she does not like it when you tag her when you're talking about her cards or in support of her old decks of cards. So I'm like, I wanted to do, I don't know, this kind of like has been on me, is that we need to kind of look at life purpose. And there's a lot of different things that are going on. We're talking about look at that crazy hair. We've got the I don't want to say summer solstice. It's not summer solstice. The fall equinox is in full force. We've had just a lot of major changes going on in and around us. And so it's always good to look at your life purpose or your agreements to see that you're on board or on task. So I wanted to start, before I do the actual Thursday reading, I wanted to look at these really quick because it was just like driving me nuts. It kept saying, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this. Okay, so what we're looking at here, and this is about our life path, is saying that we've been really disconnected, or we've had malconnection with our spiritual aspect or our spiritual side. Malconnection with our spiritual side. So we haven't been on task or on path with our true spiritual self, but kind of disconnected from that. And it's coming to a point that gosh, this is like really hard. I'm like, I thought these cards were supposed to be all sweet, kind, nice, and loving. And it's kind of like, no, when I see this card, the message that came through, it says like, your options are real limited. You've been so disconnected with everything going on around you that your options are really limited. There's not a lot of clear-cut possibilities for you. And then I'm like, damn, that's like a bad news. I mean, not really bad news, but it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you've been so self-centered and not thinking about yourself in any, really with integrity, that you've kind of like screwed yourself over and you've burned a lot of bridges. And I'm like, I don't want to hear this. Like, okay. And then the last part of this is that you're so disconnected. So we have not been on our life path. We have not been doing what we're supposed to be doing, and that we're actually been really, really self-centered. And I'm kind of like, dang. Have you ever felt like you just got spanked? That's what I feel like. I feel like I just got spanked. I'm like, okay, so I guess it's time for us to get back on track with our life purpose. Woo! Okay. All right, so let's start looking. We're going to do the Angels and Ancestors cards deck today. And this is our Thursday reading. Woo! We're going to take a look at Thursday, the energy that's going on. Hopefully we'll get some good solutions to any obstacles that are there. And then also I'm asking to kind of give us a little bit of a weekend peek. What do we need to be prepared for? Chance always favors a prepared mind. So if you have things together in your mind and you're working on plans A, B, C, and D, that you should be in a pretty good place. I know Louise Hay doesn't like the word should. She says it's very punitive in nature. And I'm like, well, it kind of depends on how you use it. Because a lot of times I think of should, and I don't think of it as being punitive. I think of it as in what's my standard, or what's my minimum that I would accept. Just to put it into a different perspective. Sometimes people don't want to look at it in that kind of perspective. And they'll see that should is, and I mean, it does sound kind of punitive when, like being punishment. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. Kind of sounds like, oh, well, I've been screwing up everywhere, I guess. And I'm like, no, not necessarily screwing up. But sometimes we don't pay attention to the cool things going on around us. Okay, I guess this is it. All right, there's a lot of cards there. So I hope you have your favorite beverage or snack or breakfast or whatever time of day it is for you. And let's get rocking and a-rolling. Our first card kind of reinforces what we just looked at in the life purpose. And this is the Wise One. And the Wise One, this is kind of, I like to think of the Wise One as being our higher consciousness, our higher self. That wisdom that within your, and I'm going to say a perfect example is when you know something, but you don't know how you know something. That's a wisdom, and you're like, I don't know how I know this, but blah, 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 And it's like, how did you know that? I don't know. I just knew it. Okay, this is what it's in reference to here. So when we're looking at this is saying that we have been disconnected. We have been disconnected from our higher self or our wisdom. The energy coming in. So we've been looking at other things and not paying attention. In fact, here it's saying, here our obstacle is that we've been stuck in the past. That we're holding on to things, situations, people, whatever, that wore out their welcome in the past, but are still lingering on. That's our obstacle. We're focused into things that are from the past that no longer define, but for some god-awful reason, we're holding on to them. Okay? So that's kind of like a little bit of a stickler. This is our obstacle. So that energy is saying we're disconnected. We're not paying attention to the things that are going on around us, and we're focused on things from the past. Our help, and I find that this is kind of strange that we would see this upside down in the help. Okay. Now, if it was right side up, I'd say, oh my gosh, you're going to have a visit from your guardian angel, or the angels are going to speak to you. Oh my gosh, you're going to have this wonderful spiritual moment. That's not the message that I'm getting here. Even if this is in the help, it is about you having to come from within and learn to start discerning, or I'm going to, just kind of say it in a way that I don't take it wrong, but you're going to have to figure some of these things within yourself. There's not going to be this great spiritual awakening. And, and I'm getting like, driving down the road and you start hearing the angels sing and the trumpets blowing or whatever. And then you get this great epiphany. It's like, no, it's not going to happen that way. In this way, this disconnect that you've created and holding on to so much crap from the past, that you're allowing it to be a definition of who you are today when it really doesn't define you, that there is not going to be any kind of major spiritual intervention here, that you, as when we look back at this card again, we're seeing the spiritual great teacher upside down, that you are going to have to actively be maneuvering through things, that you have to actively maneuver through that. And guess what? You are going to stumble. You are going to fall. You're going to get bruised, or you're going to get little bruised elbows and road rash on your knees, metaphorically speaking. Again, metaphorically speaking. But you don't have an easy task coming up, because it's kind of like your spiritual SOS or helplines, you've kind of exhausted them. You've burnt them out. And you're now in a place that you're going to have to put your own physical energy into it in order to get things rolling and fixing. And yes, you're going to stumble. And yes, you're going to fall. As we see in this Shaolin Master is upside down. What happens? Man, you're going to be okay. In fact, you're going to come out the warrior. You're going to come out with a totally different commanding energy vibe that allows you this whole brand new venue for being. Okay? So even though you're going to stumble and fall and probably, scrape some knees and bruise some elbows, metaphorically speaking, maybe physically, I don't know, but metaphorically, that regardless of what you might pursue or presume as a failure is actually a strength. And you come out on the warrior side. You come out very commanding. And I'm not saying demanding. I'm saying commanding. COMMANDING. Big difference. This is something that you are not going to actually see or notice. That it will be a slow cultivation. A slow cultivation that you, like I said, you really don't notice it until you're there. All right, so it's kind of like when you're dieting, but you're not dieting and you start losing weight. I'm going to say a great way to think about it is wearing scrubs. So those of you that have worked in healthcare and you know how scrubs are so forgiving. Okay, scrubs are really forgiving. And then, so you wear scrubs every day because you probably work every day. And then all of a sudden you get invited to go somewhere and you've got to put on real people clothes. And you realize that you're either way too fluffy or you lost a whole bunch of weight and your clothes don't fit anymore, okay? You don't realize that you've either gained weight or lost weight because you're wearing those forgiving scrubs. And then once you get into real people clothes, then you realize you either gained a bunch of weight or you lost a bunch of weight, okay? That's what this card is like. When I'm looking at this card is that you don't really realize what you've done or how you are or whatever until you're in a totally different situation, such as going from scrubs to real people clothes. Okay, kind of a way to look at it when you're looking at this card is that the change in you is not apparent until you're in a totally different place. Okay, and so this is where that totally different place is. And you just totally absorb it. You love it. You love, and I'm going to say it like this, you love your 15 minutes of fame. Even if that 15 minutes goes to 15 years, you love and appreciate that given moment because you've pulled yourself out of a dark place. You've pulled yourself out of chaos and put sense into your step. That's what this card right over here is talking about. So regardless of whatever energy that's coming in, it is to awaken us, to give us awareness to the fact that have not been on our path as shown in that life purpose reading at the beginning. Damn, right? And that we have this opportunity to get back on track. Have an opportunity to get back on track. Retreat and recharge, and I cannot stress this enough. This time of year is a fantastic time to do your metaphorical fall cleaning of yourself, body, mind, and spirit. And that's what this is talking about through here, is that sometimes you need to take a break away from all the chaos and minutia that we were talking about at the very beginning of the reading here, and get yourself into a spot where you are recharging and you are rejuvenating. And I'm going to say it like this, and you are reinventing who you are. Really important task. All right, so we're seeing the Hermit, and he's saying about retreat and recharge. Retreat actually has two different meanings. We can have retreat, which means to go back, such as in battle when they retreat from the front line, so they're going away from the front line. And then we have retreat, which can have a more positive connection with it, as in like a spiritual retreat or a health retreat. So regardless, this is saying retreat and recharge. So it's really important to work on your balancing and clearing out the garbage, as I say, of 2022 and get ready for 2023. And this is my favorite way to end the Thursday part of the reading, is talking about honor your inner knowing. Because this is where we're really having a confrontation of where is the disconnect from our this plane actual self and our higher consciousness. Because we've been focused on so many other things that we have forgot about our agreements in the life, and our life path. And that's what this reading is kind of referring to, is that this weekend is a weekend of awakening. And we're not talking about spiritual awakening, but that pop on the side of the head awakening that reminds you that you've been doing kind of goobery things. And they're like goobery things. Well, you know, kind of like not taking care of all of the things that are around you that are your staples, that give you love, give you support, that keep you safe. You know, create that sacred space. Okay, these are our 3 cards here for this weekend preview. So let's take a look at the weekend here. Got 3 card preview, and let's see what we have coming in. Okay, the eagle eye. This is seeing things from a higher perspective. And I'm going to say this. The higher means as in from your higher consciousness perspective. So seeing things from your higher consciousness and experiencing it on that level. That's the energy that's coming in. And let's see what happens with it. Our obstacle is that, what's the nice way to say this? Our obstacle is that we still fight with denial and not believing what we're seeing or not believing what's going on around us. This is about putting up a block or a wall, metaphorically speaking, so that you do not have to be aware or, and I'm going to say it kind of like this, see what's going on around you. So this is about throwing up a wall that even though we know or experience good and bad, we throw up a wall because we don't want to acknowledge it. And that's what this card here is. But just sit and chill and wait, because not acting on something, how do I say this? Okay. All right. So sometimes we have what's called an ideation. And an ideation is a thought in our head. And that thought can be a really positive thought or it can be a really negative thought. And we can have this ideation. Now, when that ideation turns into something that you do, it can have even a greater consequence. Hello. So what this message here is saying is that regardless of what you are feeling or what you've got in denial or that you're trying to shove behind, it's just best not to act on it at all and wait to see what happens next. So even though you might be tempted to rectify something really quick this weekend, the energy is saying, no, just sit back and let things happen in a natural progression. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. I've got to get ready for my client. I got a client coming in this Sunday here at the Oklahoma City studio. We are doing Shamanic Reiki Sunday for the Cash Clinic. It is $50 prepaid. It is $60 on the day of, and it's cash only. And you're like, well, how do I bring you cash? And I'm like, bring me cash, okay, you know, or whatever. We'll work out setting that up. But if you would like to come in for a shamanic Reiki session, that's the egg limpieza, the cleansing with the eggs. So we're going to do a shamanic egg cleansing. We're going to do the shamanic Reiki. We're going to be connecting your heartbeat with Mother Earth's heartbeat. Doing some intense Reiki, and then close it with a smudge. So a lot of cool things happening. So if you'd like to be a part of Sunday's Shamanic Reiki Cash Clinic, give me a text or call at 405-549-3766. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. Do me a big favor. Love this video. Comment something really cool and groovy. And don't forget to share. Peace, love, and harmony. I hope to see you very soon.